This is a Rogue Media Network production.
Welcome to the show. Today on the Ann Harder Show, we're visiting an accomplished journalist and filmmaker whose career has taken her from a Texas farm to the newsrooms of some of the nation's most respected media organizations. Olive Talley is an award-winning producer, investigative reporter, and director whose work has earned recognition ranging from Pulitzer Prize finalist to George Polk Award winner, along with Emmy and Lone Star Emmy nominations. After decades of telling powerful stories for organizations including Dateline NBC, ABC Primetime Live, the Dallas Morning News, the Houston Chronicle, Olive has turned her passion toward documentary filmmaking, creating films that educate and inspire and preserve important stories for future generations. Now, her latest documentary, The Stones Are Speaking, explores the remarkable discoveries at the Gault Archaeological Site right here in Central Texas, revealing evidence that is reshaping what we know about the earliest people that inhabited North America. It is a fascinating story of science, history, and perseverance, and one with very deep Texas roots. So, Olive Talley, I'm so delighted to welcome you to the show today.
And I'm delighted to be here with a fellow journalist. Thank you.
I have wanted to have this sit down with you since I saw you were making the documentary, and this was several years ago. In fact, you were, crowdfunding, I think, just getting money together to pay for it. And because I had the opportunity when I worked for Channel 25 to do Traveling Texas with Ann Harder there at the Gault site. Scientists have learned through the archaeology here at the Gault site, humans were here much earlier than first thought, 20,000 years ago, as opposed to 13,500 years ago. And they're still trying to figure out exactly how these ancient people got here. And I never knew anything about the Gault site before I visited the Bell County Museum and saw their exhibit. And I thought I knew a little bit about Texas. And then I learned about this and called Dr. Clark Wernicke. We do this, and it just blew my mind.
22 archaeological cultures that you can find in Central Texas. We have all 22, including as yet unnamed one that's between 16 and 20,000 years ago.
The Gault site is near the Bell and Williamson County line, not far from the town of Florence, and proved perfect for human life. And then when I saw you were going to do an actual full-length documentary on it, I was just so excited. And so here we are.
Oh, here we are. Thank you. Thank you. Well, Ann, I had the same reaction. The reason I did the film is because most Texans don't know about the place. They don't know about the Gault site. And I was one of those. I was one
Right.
of those a decade ago. And so my goal is to help raise the profile of this site, tell this compelling story of Mike Collins and his wife, Karen, and to help people understand and know more about their own history here in Texas and beyond. I mean, it's really a worldwide significant site.
Well, let's go back a little bit. You grew up on a Texas farm and built your career in New York, Boston, Houston, Dallas, and beyond. So how did those experiences help shape your career as a storyteller?
Well, it was, a transgression, I guess, or maybe a transformation along the way from radio to wire services to newspapers to television. As a journalist, Ann, you understand this, and I think your viewers and listeners understand this too. We're a curious lot, right?
Yeah.
We care, we want to inform people, we want to engage people. And so every job and every aspect of the career, I was just telling stories and reporting in different formats. And I think most of my career was focused on talking about bad people and
I know.
investigating and exposing wrongdoing
Right.
and misdeeds. And here, as I get older, I'm choosing to focus on the good deeds and the people who are out there really making a difference in our world. I've done what I can to expose wrongdoing. Now I want to shine a light on people who matter in a very positive way.
Oh, identify with you so much. And that seemed like a lot of our newscasts, like I said, it was mugshot on parade. It's like, who
Right.
done what? What perpetrator did we have on next? But it's such a delight to get to talk to someone who sees a story, sees a need, and says, "Okay, I'm going to do something," and it becomes a a movie that is shown on PBS. Okay, so but looking back on your career, do you think there was a defining moment when you realized the power of storytelling?
Oh, absolutely. I realized it in every phase of my career in
Mhm.
different ways. In radio, I began in radio as a sophomore in college at UT. And I got an internship with KPRC TV in Houston in a
Wow.
very large market
Hmm.
with their Capital Bureau. And really, what I did was carry the tripod and wear the battery pack around my waist. And this was during 1976. So, yes, all of you can figure out my old age. And I was just hanging out with those guys, but it was an election year. So, all of the major presidential candidates, Jimmy Carter, et cetera, were coming to Texas to campaign. So, I'm just holding my light and the battery pack and carrying gear and making runs to the airport where they had to ship the tape back and fly it back. There were no satellites
Oh, I
then.
know.
But you connect with your audience in one way in radio, you connect with your audience another way in television, and in print. I loved print because it gave me space and time and greater depth and greater details. One of my stories that I covered in Dallas for the Dallas Morning News was the Walker Rayleigh case, the Methodist minister who
Hmm.
was accused and ultimately acquitted of attacking his wife and leaving her in a permanent vegetative state for 20 some odd years. But I chipped away at that story for 5 years. And I did an investigation into medical care of federal prisoners and the federal prison system. That was a year-long investigation that resulted in dozens of pages in the paper. So,
Hmm.
um, storytelling took on different forms and it just sort of helped define who I am. I'm just passionate about telling stories and sharing stories with people about other people,
Well, your work
right? Aren't you?
consistently. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You focus on stories that have lasting impact rather
I
than
try.
simply today's headlines. So, why is that important to you?
Well, I did a lot of breaking news for
Hmm.
sure in
Yeah.
every job, but I just like to dig in and chew a little bit. I just like to get more depth. I think that it's very hard to drop in. I think daily journalism is one of the hardest things, and particularly now. You don't have enough time, you don't have enough resources, you're doing a million different things on deadline under enormous pressure. I do not think I could do it these days. I thought it was hard enough back before we had the internet and we were having to feed the beast in every which way, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or social media platform, and be on the air live and file your reports. When are you supposed to be able to sit and think and process the information? And so newspapers were slower. They're not as much now because they're facing the same 24/7 pressures that we face in television and radio. audiences now, because of the technology, they're demanding information immediately. Plus, we have so many different sources of information. I fear that it's very hard for people now to distinguish between fact and fiction. And, I really hate that term fake news. But with AI, you now
It kind
have
of is.
it is, and it's a
Yeah.
blurring of how do you learn as a viewer and a reader and a listener to distinguish between the sources of information that you're getting. But the standards that I grew up with, and I'm sure you grew up with, Anne, you had to have 2 to 3 sources on the record before you reported anything. There
Yeah.
was no rumor this, and there was no I've heard this, and there was no I think this. Our opinions should never be known in our news coverage. And
Amen.
when
Amen. Amen.
when
You are
things
singing my
started,
song. Yeah.
oh, good, good. Well, we can make a
Absolutely.
chorus. Yeah, we
Oh,
can do a duet.
yeah. That is so
Uh,
true. I've always said, they didn't hire me to give my opinion.
right.
I'm a news anchor reporter. So, I mean, no.
Right. And if you want to give your opinion, you write for the editorial section.
Right, right.
But people should be able to expect that you are doing your darndest to get as much information, as accurate of information as you can from as many different sources, and then process that and present it in a way that's digestible for people. And it's just not easy. It is not easy. And now it's even worse. People don't want to talk. And then people who do want to talk and sort of, hog the camera or do whatever, they have different motivations.
Mhm.
So it's a challenging job. It was a challenging job for us in our day. It's even more so for the young journalists coming up. And boy, do we need them. And I applaud them for hanging in there. I don't know if
Absolutely.
I answered your
I
question,
love
though.
I love everything you're saying. I mean, everything you're saying. I love this discussion about journalism and electronic journalism in particular. But let's go back to the Gault Archaeological Site. What first drew you to this story? I told you I discovered it at the Bell County
Yes.
Museum.
Anne, I actually heard about the Gault site for the first time on a trip to Antarctica.
Really?
Yeah. It's sort of like leave it to a Texan to go all the way to the Southern Ocean and the White Continent and come home with a story not about the penguins, not about the whales, but a story about the Gault site.
Hmm.
And so what happened in short is this. There was a National Geographic photographer by the name of Kenneth Garrett who was on the trip, and he was lecturing us and giving us his documentation of his coverage of the Peopling of the Americas story, the migration of people around the world and eventually filling in the Western Hemisphere. He mentioned the Gault site and said it was a pivotal site, a significant site that really helped change our understanding and our thinking about when people first were in the Americas. And all of us Texans on the ship looked at each other. And I'm sitting there, of course, asking the questions. Have you heard of this site? Have you heard of this site? Have you heard of it? Nobody had heard of it. And of course, my first reaction was, how the heck did I miss this story? I mean, how could there be such an important place in in the heart of Texas, and I've never heard of it? And I was at that time, in my career, I was reading all the major papers in all the major cities, and I thought consuming, and finding the big stories. Long story short, I came back. I was so intrigued, and it was by the very question that and the information you said at the top of our conversation. Nobody knew about this site. And I wanted to answer the question, why? Why didn't Texans know about this site? And is it really real? I mean, come on, Ken, was it really, he was a National Geographic photographer and I believed him, but it was sort of like, how can this be? So it was that curiosity and that sort of befuddlement that there could be such an important place right here in our own backyards. I called Mike Collins as soon as I got home. We spent 4 hours on the phone. He invited me to come visit him, and I had said by the end of the 4 hours, I think I'm just going to do a little freelance print story about this. And he goes, yeah, but I had so many questions, and I didn't know what chert was. I didn't know what flint was. I didn't know really about the Clovis culture, the so-called first, the technology of the first people in the Americas. I was like, okay, I think I remember that Lambridge theory from grade school or something, but beyond that, boop, boop, clueless. So I said, I'll come down. He goes, well, I just need you to spend 4 days. And I went, 4 days? I don't have 4 days to come down there. And he goes, well, Olive, you've got a lot of questions and I need time to show you around. So he took me to the University of Texas, where they were based at that time, and we went through the Texas Archaeological Research Lab, which housed a lot of artifacts. And he also took me to the Paleo Lab there that is all on the J.J. Pickle campus at UT, the North Campus. And he began educating me. And I began to slowly pull out his story, because I was fascinated, of course, with the story of the place and the history. But then I began to learn a little bit more about Mike's story. And I thought, oh my God, this is a great story. So that's how it started.
Oh my gosh. Well, there's so much more I want to talk to Olive about as she grabs onto this story, and then it comes to life in the form of a documentary. The Stones Are Speaking. But we need to take a break, and we will do that right now, and maybe see a trailer from the film. We'll see. But stay with us. There's more of the show ahead.
Mike has worked all over the world, but here at the height of his career, he finds a valuable site in our own backyard.
And he said, y'all don't have any idea what y'all have.
It was the biggest nest of Clovis artifacts I'd ever seen. It's been abused and looted, and yet it still had an enormous story to tell.
September 5th, 1998. So we can expose the mammoth mandible.
And all of a sudden, we started finding these big bones. I mean, huge bones like this.
What's this stuff over here? This appears to be bone. Appears to be chert. Some are large flakes.
And every 10-centimeter level, we found a projectile point. And I'd never been on a dig with that many artifacts in one unit. Welcome to Gault.
They knew that there was something bigger down there.
Here it is. This is the spot. The stones are speaking. And they're telling us that these people were very sophisticated.
There were people here significantly earlier in the Americas than we used to tell people.
There were a lot of challenges.
There were people who wanted to buy the Gault site and loot it, mine it for artifacts for sale.
We got knocked down a lot, and Mike just kept getting up.
He just had to make something happen because he knew what was going to be lost if he didn't. I wasn't sure that he would be the same person if he didn't manage to save this site. Nobody else believed in his dream like maybe we did.
We're celebrating the Declaration of Deals at Allen Samuels in Waco. Right now, get $13,000 off a new Ram 1500 Lone Star, plus 2.9% for 72 months. Cash in on $13,000 off a new Ram 2500 Laramie Crew Cab, or choose 0% for 36 months, plus no payments for 90 days. Feel secure with America's best full-size truck powertrain 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty at Allen Samuels.
Come by.
It's the premier charity event of the year, the 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, presented by Ascension Providence. A fun evening filled with great food and drink, dancing, a spectacular auction, and more. This year's theme is Nashville Nights, Neon Lights, and Bullfights. Get your tickets now, donate, or be a sponsor. Help support the American Cancer Society to find a cure. The 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, October 24th at MCC Highlander Ranch. For more information, go to centraltexascattlebaronsball.org.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Designed to elevate the off-road experience, enabling adventurers to conquer any terrain. For 50 years, you've trusted us on your toughest recoveries, to your most breathtaking destinations, and in countless unforgettable memories.
At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today.
It's the premier charity event of the year, the 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, presented by Ascension Providence. A fun evening filled with great food and drink, dancing, a spectacular auction, and more. This year's theme is Nashville Nights, Neon Lights, and Bullfights. Get your tickets now, donate, or be a sponsor. Help support the American Cancer Society to find a cure. The 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, October 24th at MCC Highlander Ranch. For more information, go to centraltexascattlebaronsball.org.
For anyone that's in the car buying mode or looking for a car right now or a truck, I would definitely come by Alan Samuels, get to know the people here like I have, how well I'm taking care of the dealership and how well, service and any kind of warranty issues or those sort of things. Because of the way they take care of me, it's made me a Ram driver. And so I don't think they'd want to go anywhere else if they came here.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Alan Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Finance is evolving. Automation, data analytics, and AI are reshaping what finance teams do every single day. The best way to predict the future of finance is to be ready for it. If you want a head start, check out 365 Financial Analyst.
Earning an online certification is a quick and convenient way to gain industry-recognized credentials. Select your ACLS course. Print your ACLS certificate. You can print your certification wallet card. aclsnow.com.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
If I had somebody that was looking for a car, I would definitely recommend Alan Samuels. The trust that I have, the care that they take, they genuinely want to take care of you. They really ask for your feedback when you go to the support department to make sure they're taking care of you in every way possible. So I really appreciate that they listen to your feedback.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Alan Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Earning an online certification is a quick and convenient way to gain industry-recognized credentials. Select your ACLS course. Print your ACLS certificate. You can print your certification wallet card. aclsnow.com.
Designed to elevate the off-road experience, enabling adventurers to conquer any terrain. For 50 years, you've trusted us on your toughest recoveries, to your most breathtaking destinations, and in countless unforgettable memories.
At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today.
For anyone that's in the car buying mode or looking for a car right now or a truck, I would definitely come by Alan Samuels, get to know the people here like I have, how well I'm taking care of the dealership and how well, service and any kind of warranty issues or those sort of things. Because of the way they take care of me, it's made me a Ram driver. I said I don't think they'd want to go anywhere else if they came here.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Finance is evolving. Automation, data analytics, and AI are reshaping what finance teams do every single day. The best way to predict the future of finance is to be ready for it. If you want a head start, check out 365 Financial Analyst.
Well, good morning and welcome to Gault. We're going to take a little trip back through time.
We're told that archaeology is in foreign places that you have to travel to, and you barely have to leave Austin before you find one of the most groundbreaking sites in the United States.
It's part of mystery. It's a place of wonder.
Dr. Michael Collins, a scientist with a bold vision, saw the possibilities here and staked his career to save Gault for humanity.
And we are back with Olive Talley talking about the documentary film, The Stones Are Speaking. And this really, of all the things that I've done over the years, this is one that really I've just felt like my mind blew because of what is right here in Central Texas. And we probably need to tell folks that this is right at the Williamson-Bell County line, like you're heading toward Florence. It's not too far from Florence. And you can still go and tour this site with an arrangement through, I think, the Bell County Museum, maybe the Williamson County Museum, arranged some.
That was the case until about a couple of months ago. And you could book tours. The public, they offered 2 tours. They still do twice a month on Saturdays. But instead of booking now through the Williamson or Bell County Museums, you can book directly through the Gault School of Archaeological Research. They do offer tours, and since the release of the film, tours have exponentially increased at the site. That's good. And they're very happy about it. Yeah. And we want people to come and see it. Also, since we got the film finished, I've donated a lot of photos, and Ken Garrett, who I brought back the National Geographic photographer. I got him involved in my film. So he shot a lot of photos of the artifacts, but he also donated a lot of his photographs to be used for new signs at the site. So now you can take a walking tour and actually see some of the artifacts and pictures of them. Of course, the artifacts themselves are curated both at the University of Texas and at San Marcos at Texas State.
Yeah, well, let's talk a little bit about the history of the discovery of this site.
Okay.
Because it was right on Buttermilk Creek, and the farmer
Henry Gault,
he was plowing, and he'd turn up all these things, arrowheads and all kinds of stuff.
Yes, and he was working with a Texas Ranger at one point, who would meet him on the drag in Austin, or so I'm told by some old timers. And he would be selling vegetables out of his wagon, and then he would also be selling artifacts. And so there was a professor at UT by the name of J.E. Pierce who worked with the Texas Ranger, because the Texas Ranger was talking to people out in the community. And so the Ranger would go back and report to J.E. Pierce, hey, you need to go check out this place here, on Buttermilk Creek and other locations. So J.E. Pierce came out and first dug the site in the 30s, 1929 and 1930. Then Henry Gault sold the property after his wife died, and it was bought by the Lindsay family. And the older members of the family, Elmer Lindsay, was running it as a pay to dig. And that meant people could come out and pay $25 a day and dig up and keep whatever they got. In 1991, Mike Collins went out there for the first time after a collector who had been a pay-to-dig collector found some engraved stones and some Clovis artifacts in close relation to each other. And he sent those artifacts off to another person to copy them, and that person notified UT. Mike and Tom Hester went out there. They deemed the site, after 12 days of an experimental dig, they thought it was worthwhile. But the owner at that time, Elmer Lindsay, did not want to have researchers come out there unless they were willing also to pay $25 a day. The university refused to pay, so 7 years go by. Mike knows that the site is being destroyed every day by these collectors. Fortuitously, Elmer Lindsay died, and the property was purchased by another member of the Lindsay family, Howard, who was his nephew. And Howard and his wife and their son Ricky and his wife bought the land. Then they ran off all the pay-to-dig people, but then they started digging themselves with a backhoe. And they ran into some big bones, including what turned out to be a jawbone of a mammoth. They didn't know what it was. They just knew it was important. Once again, they get the call at the University of Texas, and Mike Collins and Tom Hester go out there. And it was at that point that Mike Collins sees more Clovis artifacts coming out of that one little pit than he had ever seen in his entire lifetime. And so the film will tell you the rest of this story and the ups and downs of how Mike eventually secured a lease and then purchased the property. But the takeaway that the general public needs to understand is all of the discoveries together at this site changed history. How and why? Well, it's the largest number of Clovis artifacts in North America were found here, more than all of the other Clovis era artifacts combined in all the other sites around North America. That's one. Then, beyond Clovis, they found evidence of people going back and living here and largely coming here to get the raw material to make stone tools. And that is older than Clovis, and that goes up to 20,000 years ago.
That's what upended the history books.
Yes, yes. Oh, we went in our history books, and it's still unfortunately being taught today in the few occasions when prehistory is actually taught in Texas schools, that the first people came to the Americas across a frozen land bridge that was created when the glaciers, covered most of the northern part of the hemisphere, and people migrated from Asia, Northeast Asia, over across Alaska and then trickled down into the Americas. Well, in 1997, at a site called Monteverde in southern Chile, that was proven to be wrong. And that the date for the Clovis theory generally is around now accepted 13,500 years ago. But a site in Chile dated 14,500. And then you had Gault come in the 2000s as looking, as the gold standard for Clovis sites, and then hints of stuff that's deeper than that and older than that. And it wasn't until about 2016, I think, that they actually published the date that said it could go as far back as 20,000 years. So you have a layer cake of time here at Gault. You have the oldest evidence measured by OSL, optically stimulated luminescence. It measures the refracted light in sand particles. But you have all these eras represented, and you have not only the dirt samples that show this, but you have the representative points and artifacts and tools that were being made. So archaeologists can look at a tool and they can look at how it's made and they can say, oh, well, that's a Clovis point, or oh, this is an Andice point, or oh, this is Pertinalis or whatever. And so they've looked at the tools and they've looked at the dates measured by the dirt and all these scientific measurements, and they can document this layer cake. And we know from previous work done at other sites, most of the names of about 20 of these cultures. Do we know who the people were back 16,000 years ago? No. We don't have enough of these sites to be able to identify them, and they don't have a name. So Mike Collins was very precise, as he is, in saying and labeling it just simply older than Clovis, because it was found in a layer of dirt below where they found all the Clovis artifacts.
Yeah, in fact, I think I remember Dr. Warnicke telling me there was what they found they thought was the floor of a dwelling.
Yes, they found in 2002, before they had to leave the site, they found what they think is a floor surface. It's really a bunch of rocks and pebbles to help raise the person off of the clay that was in this floodplain in the Buttermilk Creek floodplain. Clearly, people would have put grass or hay or sticks or other, leaves and stuff to make a bed, but they were using the rocks to elevate it. So you have this square little pattern of rocks. So yes, and there's only, like Mike says in the film, there's only 2 of those known at this point in the northern hemisphere, and Gault is one of them.
Yeah, and it just seems a shame, but I understand it, that it's been totally covered back over again. I know we have the Mammoth National Monument here in Waco, and I remember the long process of they found all the bones and all the significance of that scientific discovery, and then the building of the building around it, and Dr. Warnicke is like, we just can't do that.
Here's some exciting news. Reagan King, who was the site manager
Yes,
at the
I
Mammoth.
know. I heard that.
She's now the new executive director at the Gault site.
I love that. I love that. Yeah.
And so she's got the
She's
knowledge
perfect.
and the experience to help us. And believe you me, there is a plan. And when the time is right, we hope to be talking about raising money to build an educational center out there and to be able to have more of a facility where you can teach and show people things. So
Oh, that makes my heart so happy to hear.
I know. Well,
I
what
love
we
hearing
need
that.
is for people to sign up and become members of the
Yes.
Gault School. It's a nonprofit, and you can find that on their website. And then when they get everything, their ducks in a row, and they announce a big fundraising campaign, then we need to help them.
You bet.
And we need to build this dream of an educational center out there, because this is a world-class site that is in our backyards in Texas, and people need to know about it. And it could be ecotourism, it could be cultural tourism for the state of Texas. I mean, the potential here, Anne, is vast.
No question. You are so knowledgeable on this after, as you say, really digging in deep with this, so as to speak. Were there any discoveries or interviews during the production that really changed your perspective? You kind of went,
Oh gosh, almost every one of them had something else to add. I'll tell you, the title comes from Bruce Bradley, an archaeologist from Colorado. I had him and Mike sitting along Buttermilk Creek, and they're talking about the discoveries, and they're really ruminating about what they found and what it means. And Bruce Bradley says, and the stones were speaking, and they're telling us that these people were sophisticated and they had, knowledge, and they, and anyway, I have all that quote in the film, but that's where the title came from. But, and what really stirs me about the film, and I'll apologize because I cry every time, is that Mike Collins and Karen Collins are role models for altruism.
Yes.
They did not do this for personal greed. In fact, they lost money, when they actually bought the site. And you'll learn other details in the film. But they have done this not only with the Gault site, but they've done this with an historic home, an 1849 log cabin. They call it a house, and they don't like me to call it a log cabin, but in Austin. And Karen has documented the entire history of all the inhabitants, from the white merchants and a white congressman to the slaves who they owned and sold, and all of the history of that entire place since 1849. She's put all that together. So, I just think that in today's climate, where we have so much partisanship and so much animosity, and things are so negative, I feel like this film holds up the Collins as role models for standing for education, science, passing on knowledge, doing things and acting for the greater good, for the benefit of society. I mean, Mike could have walked away. They could have just let this go. And he persevered for over 3 decades, really nearly 40 years. And the only reason he stopped is because of the memory issues that he began to have.
Yeah.
But I mean, you don't come across people like this a lot. And that is truly in what kept driving me, because I just think people need to thank them,
Well, it is a beautiful tribute to them. And it was an act of faith. I mean, I really felt like when they said, we're going to buy this property to protect it, that they saw the value in doing that and preserving history. And I love hearing the story. I want to talk to her about this this
Oh, yeah.
house, this
Yeah,
log
yeah.
cabin house in
Yeah,
Austin, because I'm really big into that kind of thing, the preserving of historic structures.
Right,
And
right.
and why do you think it is so important for us to preserve these things?
Because this is our past. Why do we, and I'm borrowing this line from Clark Wernicke, but he said, Olive, why do people do their DNA? Why do people go on Ancestry.com and 23andMe and all these other things? We want to know about our own history. We want to know our personal history, but we want to know our human history, our shared history as humans on planet Earth and as Texans and as Central Texans, right? So I think these sites are irreplaceable. If we don't do them proper, if we don't protect them now, if we don't save them and we learn what we can from them now, everything will be bulldozed by development and there will be no other places where we can go to learn more about ourselves.
Absolutely. So how can folks see the film? I know I saw it when it was running on PBS.
Is currently anybody can watch it by going on to Amazon, Apple TV, or Google Play, YouTube. It is still on PBS for broadcast in Texas. So you can talk to your local PBS station and ask them to please air it again. But I have not given them the license to the online version of the film because I want people to watch the longer version. The PBS version runs 56 minutes. The version that you will see on Amazon and Apple and YouTube runs 85 minutes. And it's a much richer, fuller, more detailed story and a more emotional story. And I think it breathes better. So that's the version I want people to watch. So that's what I'm making available out there for everybody to watch online.
Well,
And we will have some other screenings in Texas. I've got
okay. Oh,
screenings
good.
coming
Yeah.
up. Cuero, Goldthwait, Fort Clark Springs, hopefully another one in Austin or Central Texas sometime, and in Santa Fe in October. So
Good to see about getting one here in Waco.
well, we'd love it. We'd love it. Let's
Okay.
do it.
Let's
Yeah.
let's figure out how to do that. The Stones Are Speaking, though. It is just it's a remarkable story, and anybody in Texas needs to watch this wonderful documentary explaining just one of the most mind-blowing aspects of our history, and it's just right here from Waco, just down the road a little bit. And you can visit it, and there's a wonderful future ahead for it. Has just excited me so much to hear.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, and, I just want people to know it's a heartwarming story. If you don't pull out a tissue by the end of the film, I have failed. So, it's a real story of passion and perseverance. And anyway, it's been a joy to do. It's been a labor of love. And I'm so grateful for you to have me on the show. Thank you so much.
Well, I was so excited when I saw you beginning to try to raise some money to make this film because I thought, oh, this absolutely needs to be done. And it is a joy for me to get to really visit with you today and how much commonality we have had in our career and the way we think about journalism and storytelling.
Yes.
And it's just a delight for me. And so I appreciate you so much. You need to come back on and tell me what your next project is.
Okay, when I figure that out, I'll share it with you.
Okay, very good. But let's work on getting a showing of The Stones Are Speaking here in Central Texas meanwhile. Thank you
good.
so much for your time. Blessings on you, my dear.
Thank you. Thank you, Ann.
Stay with us. There's more of the show ahead.
Mike has worked all over the world, but here at the height of his career, he finds a valuable site in our own backyard.
And he said, y'all don't have any idea what y'all have.
It was the biggest nest of Clovis artifacts I'd ever seen. It's been abused and looted, yet it still had an enormous story to tell.
They knew that there was something bigger down there.
The stones are speaking, and they're telling us that these people were very sophisticated.
There were people here significantly earlier in the Americas than we used to tell people.
There were people who wanted to buy the Gault site and loot it, mine it for artifacts for sale.
We got knocked down a lot, and Mike just kept getting up.
He just had to make something happen because he knew what was going to be lost if he didn't. I wasn't sure that he would be the same person if he didn't manage to save this site. Nobody else believed in his dream like maybe we did.
It's the premier charity event of the year, the 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, presented by Ascension Provident. A fun evening filled with great food and drink, dancing, a spectacular auction, and more. This year's theme is Nashville Nights, Neon Lights, and Bullfights. Get your tickets now, donate, or be a sponsor. Help support the American Cancer Society to find a cure. The 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, October 24th at MCC Highlander Ranch. For more information, go to centraltexascattlebaronsball.org.
Earning an online certification is a quick and convenient way to gain industry-recognized credentials. Select your ACLS course. Print your ACLS certificate. You can print your certification wallet card. aclsnow.com.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Designed to elevate the off-road experience, enabling adventurers to conquer any terrain. For 50 years, you've trusted us on your toughest recoveries, to your most breathtaking destinations, and in countless unforgettable memories.
Finance is evolving. Automation, data analytics, and AI are reshaping what finance teams do every single day. The best way to predict the future of finance is to be ready for it. If you want a head start, check out 365 Financial Analyst.
At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
It's our declaration of deals, and savings are moving fast at Allen Samuels Jeep in Waco. Get a 2026 Jeep Wrangler Sport for just $32,990, or take $10,000 off a 2026 Jeep Grand Cherokee Summit. Or qualified buyers can get 0% APR for 36 months and no payments for 90 days. Don't stand still. Drive today. Allen Samuels.
Come by, let's be friends.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress, that helps you calm down and feel better. You sleep better, and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
I had a panic moment running my hands through my hair, and that's when I found Keeps. Keeps gave me the results that I was really looking for.
I definitely felt a lot more confident once I saw my hair coming back.
Keeps has given me the control of my hair back.
Get your first month free at Keeps.com.
It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.
This is a Rogue Media Network production.